What is it like to train former and current San Antonio Spurs?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great week and getting through the work week. I know it's almost there. Weekend's almost here, everybody. Hang on tight. What are we talking about today? We're going to have a very special guest, San Antonio's very own Jason Echols. That name sounds familiar. It should. He's a celebrity trainer here in San Antonio and has trained the likes of Tim Duncan, David Robinson, even David Robinson's sons. He's going to talk to us about what it's like and how he got into helping the San Antonio Spurs stay in shape during their career and after their career. Also, how you can get involved in his business, how you can go find him, and if you want to get in the session with him, and also what was behind the Duncan versus Rockhold MMA battle at the AT&T Center. What got into that? Did Jason survive trying to break those two big guys up? Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. As always, we are free and available wherever you get podcasts. I'm going to bring him on. He is Jason Echols of Echols Fitness. I want you to make sure you follow him on Twitter right now at Echols Fitness. That's ECHOLS Fitness, FITNESS. Jason, welcome to Locked On Spurs.
Yes, such an honor to be on with you, sir.
No, it's likewise, man. The feeling is mutual. I'm glad you are here to talk about, how you got involved with the team, how San Antonio can also get involved with you. And hopefully you're still in one piece. I saw a video. You tried to break up Duncan and Rockhold. How did you survive that, man? How did you do that?
Man, it was truly by the hair of one's chin.
Well, let's go ahead and dive. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say I've been dear friends with Tim for quite some time, and part of our connection obviously is martial arts and us being fans of the likes of the UFC. So we've obviously been watching Luke for years. I actually connected with a gentleman named Henry Hope, who is at Kill Cliff FC out in South Florida. After the Spurs won the championship, and upon my connection with him, I started to train under him to continue my martial arts education.
Right.
Every quarter, I would go down to Florida and hang out, and people like Luke Rockhold, my dear friend Anthony Rumble Johnson, God rest his soul, and many other amazing people. Vitor Belfort is somebody of great significance in the relationship. So upon that connection, I've obviously been a really cool connection between NBA and UFC.
Right.
So I've often connected, Tim and David with some of the fighters that I've become friends with and hung out with, and et cetera, which is what happened at the AT&T Center. I actually introduced Luke and Tim, who have kind of somewhat known each other through me over the past 7 years, but it was super cool to see them connect and be so comfortable with one another that they would go through that little sequence we all saw.
Yeah, we'll get into that and much, much more right here on Locked On Spurs. But I want to start off, Jason, how did you get into celebrity training, obviously locally and then nationally, and I'm assuming internationally? How did you get involved? How did that all start for you?
There's a San Antonio Academy Award nominated actor named Jackie Earl Haley. Who's been in quite a few films. If you check him out on IMDb, that can totally show you a lot of his career. We were actually playing rock and roll music in the San Antonio music scene, and we became dear friends. And as we were jamming together, I had taken up martial arts training, as I've loved it since I was a child, and introduced him into it. And he got called back into Hollywood, and I continued my personal training and martial arts. And upon our reconnection, after a period of time of him working, I had a significant amount of skill set. So I started to train him for his movies like The Watchmen,
Right.
was one that I worked with him on, and we also went through a TV series called Human Target, and there was a remake of the movie RoboCop that I worked with him on as well. So it kind of started there, working in the Hollywood circles, and then obviously living in San Antonio, I was very blessed to be able to make a name for myself in the personal training world using my particular brand and blend of movements. And in this particular community, there's a lot of very high level people in the small circle that it is, and ended up in front of Tim one day, and it was just super a random cool meeting, and we met purely on the basis of martial arts, not because he was TD 21 or
right.
And we just totally hit it off and started to make some cool progress. And just really, he had every trainer that you could possibly imagine that does any kind of movement of training. This was something completely outside of his wheelhouse.
Right.
And the last 6 or 7 years of his career, he spent the off seasons with me, in addition to his existing NBA training. And it definitely seemed to give him an edge, and I was very blessed to be with him through 2013 and 2014 when everything happened with the Heat, and we've continued on for all of these years, and it's just been a super wonderful thing. And starting with Jackie and Tim, obviously I got to meet David and Bruce Bowen and a lot of the local folks that have just been such a wonderful addition to my dream.
Everybody should really go check out his Twitter right now at Echols Fitness. He has a lot of pictures. You'll see him with Timmy. You'll see him in his gym. Also a link there to go check out EchollsFitness.com. It's all there. And he's not all sweaty all the time. He gets cleaned up pretty easy. There's a very fancy picture of you. I see it right now. I see you, Jason, knee up, arms crossed, jacket going. So, yes. He is all about business, and he will take care of you. Go to EchollsFitness.com. I look at this, some of the pictures on your social media. It looks pretty intense, but at the same time, I get a vibe that it's all levels are welcome at Echols Fitness.
No question, Jeff. And honestly, the community at large has been this is all a basis of catharsis that I'm working on. So a good majority of my clientele are in the Alamo Heights area, and in the Bernie and La Cantera areas of San Antonio has tend to be my most common people of origin, if you will. But it's just been this beautiful thing to where if you have a desire, and a lot of my people are business owners, they're CEOs, they're high level professionals, they're medical professionals. They're all in dire need of some kind of cathartic way to get the stress of their lives that weighs them down on a daily basis, to learn something that breathes and grows and develops you and changes you and molds you. And that's just been the whole beauty of everything I've been able to translate from, the housewives to the Tim Duncans to the surgeons. To the CEOs, whatever it is, it's been a beautiful and universal healing mechanism of sorts for them.
What I definitely like about what you show on your Twitter at Echols Fitness, is that you show what you're doing. It's not just simple. Like, hey, look at the place, which is there, or look at me with my fist up. You show the actual movements. You show the training that's going on, from Tim to the local people that sign up. So I think it's very inviting. And I think all Spurs fans should check out EchollsFitness.com right now. You mentioned some of the names, obviously Duncan. I think everybody's known that you've been training them for a long time, but slowly but surely you start seeing other players go to you, such as you mentioned Bowen. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think your most recent is Charles Bassey, I think before he had the injury. How is training an NBA players any different than perhaps the local person who just walks in and wants to join you? Is there any difference in your approach? Ultimate Pro Basketball GM is the coolest game that I played in a long time. Look, I've always thought I could be a great NBA GM. Yeah, maybe not. If you have had the thought and fantasized about managing your own basketball franchise, go download Ultimate Pro Basketball GM right now. The game allows you to manage every strategic aspect of the franchise. You can play through seasons, lead your franchise and fans to glory. You can even build a historic dynasty. In the simulation, you are responsible for everything. I mean, trading, training players, making draft picks, hiring the coaches, the assistants, dealing with the personalities of the coaches and players, and of course, navigating your franchise through free agency, the draft, all the up and down of a multiple season. Yeah, you want to get it right now. It's challenging, realistic, all in the game world. Ultimate Pro Basketball GM is completely free, playable offline, playing your go as you want, when you want. Look, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I have to put my cell phone down and put it away in another closet just to make sure I don't get to mess with it. But when I do, it is awesome. Look, Locked On Spurs listeners get themselves a 100% free boost to their franchise when using promo code Locked On in the game store. Go check it out right now. Download the game. Just visit probasketballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up in the App Store. That's probasketballgm.com. Ultimate Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today. And once again, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You are the everydayers. Tomorrow on the show, we'll be looking at the recent news regarding your Spurs and wanting to play again outside of San Antonio, right here on Locked On Spurs.
I would say, other than they're about 1.5 feet taller than the average person.
Right.
No, I love on everybody equally. Obviously, I get a feel of who the person is, and obviously, I'm very authentic and upfront with them upon interaction, and it translates accordingly. So whoever it is, 7 foot or 4 foot, we develop a training program that's appropriate for them, and that will translate appropriately in their lives.
When you're training the NBA players or even the Hollywood actors, are you working with pretty much with a strip down to the studs kind of situation? Or, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's different for a pro athlete, like Robinson, for example, or Bowen, during their playing days. But even when they were finely tuned pro athletes, you figure, Jason, you still have to take some sort of caution, still understand that, yeah, you may be, fit for that NBA, but in here it's different. Does that go through the talk with the people and the players that join you?
Yeah, definitely. And again, everybody needs their own individual program that's set up and designed specifically for them. Tim has a different body type than David does. They move differently on their own accord. I have a new business partner who's a surgeon who just came in and joined my force over here. And when she came in, she has her own body type and her own build and the way that she moves accordingly. So I've definitely designed everybody their own specific program that fits for their body type, right, for their lifestyle, for whatever that looks like. I've been blessed enough to be able to do this long enough to where I can figure out the best way to organize that program.
He is Jason Echols from right here in San Antonio. Follow him on Twitter at Echols Fitness, and go to echolsfitness.com right now to find out how you can sign up and join the force over there, so to speak, and get some training with Jason. One of the more recent players to join you at Echols Fitness is Charles Bassey. Now, obviously, that was pre-injury, but when you have a rookie coming in like him, a very young guy, do you feel like there's a difference like now with these modern NBA players? Obviously you got Tim Duncan towards the end of his career, but he was still coming out of that old school, you are a big, you got to plot in the paint and do your business. Now it's more positionless now. And I get it, you have your plan and you give them what they have to do, but do the players ever come in and say, you know what, I want to slim down, but at the same time, I want to add weight? I figure that has to be a little bit of a challenge too.
Everybody typically shows up with a blank slate, and the idea of my professional position is to figure out what that painting is going to look like for that individual.
Mm-hmm.
And for Charles, it was preparation. I got him right before the Spurs, and we did modalities of recovery with ice bath, with sauna. We did a lot of kickboxing and martial arts and massage and a different type of footwork techniques based off of kickboxing alone.
Right.
And in a developmental sense, I would love to believe that gave Charles a footing to find his next level up, and obviously he is who he is now, and I'm hopeful that he's going to be able to recover quickly from his injury. But he's a wonderful young man, and I was very ecstatic with his openness and his authenticity and his ability to, and his excitement really to just be able to execute anything that I had on the menu for him. And anybody else that would come in a developmental level, obviously I would take this similar approach. But again, it's just been such a wonderful blessing to have these folks coming over here.
Have you talked with him as far as continuing, training with you once he's fully recovered from his current injury?
I have, Jeff, and in the particular Spurs season, there is contractual obligations that I want to stay away from, because
I understand.
I know everybody's got their own individual contract, but I tend to stay away from those guys while they're playing, because obviously their mind is bogged down with the season and strategies, etc. But I definitely pop in and say hello to him. I often attend games with Big Dave, and I'll pop over and say hello to the guys if I see them close by. And when it gets close to off season, I'll shoot them out a text and just let them know that there's a seat available for them if they still have their eye on it. And I've been, again, very blessed to have those guys hit me back and come check out what's next.
Like literally and figuratively hit you back when they do go to you.
Exactly. And Jeff, you gotta know, man, I'm 5'10", so when you put a 7-footer in front of me, you can imagine the adjustments I have to make to be able to handle a body like that. But man, it's a sight to see.
I mean, I couldn't imagine what those. I know you don't probably teach looping punches, from straight punches, but just to see a 7-footer or a pro player swinging at you or kicking at you or, going at your head, that first experience must have really made you think like, oh, what did I get myself into?
100%. No, the first time I stood in front of Tim, I had never seen anything that drastic before, as far as size differentiation.
Yeah.
But Tim is what everybody sees and more. Believe me, he's just such a special human being, and was so humble and so open to instruction as everyone else has been. So it's just been wonderful to be able to mold these greats and turn them onto a craft that's such a life-changing, sport-enhancing, human-enhancing craft.
What I like about it too is from Duncan to Robinson to Bowen to Bassey, and then everybody else on your roster, they all buy into it and they all give it their 110%. I mean, again, just looking at your photos at Echols Fitness on Twitter, you see the intensity, but you also see the camaraderie, and that's a good feeling. And that's exactly why people in San Antonio or anybody listening should head up echolsfitness.com right now. I look at your program, and you've been talking to us about this and everything, but fans are probably scratching their head right now saying, Jeff, ask him a question. So I'm going to ask it. When it comes to punching power or just picking it up at ease, who's adjusted the best in your opinion?
Hey, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Look, buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, a theater near you. You want to go to gametime.co. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can just basically stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll have. Once again, gametime.co. They have flash deals, last-minute tickets, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. You get images of seats, views, as well as the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. So that's good to know. So forget planning months in advance. Game Time has the deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. I mentioned those flash deals for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Again, buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you are set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you don't have to dig through your mail. Download the Game Time app right now. Create an account. Use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I also want to talk to you about Mudslingers, my favorite place to get coffee out in San Antonio. Look, did you stay up late last night? You need a quick pick-me-up? You got to go to Mudslingers drive-through coffee right now. Mudslingers is locally owned and independent coffee shop, and they're proud to make delicious coffee for our community. They do it fast and friendly, so you can get on with your day. Whether you're in the mood for a latte, cold brew, or a Red Bull-infused lightning bolt, let me tell you, I had that recently. 100% good. 100% will get you on your feet. They have drinks for every taste. They also have a wide selection of dairy alternatives, low-calorie options, even caffeine-free drinks for those who just want to take it easy. Go to Mudslingers drive-through coffee right now for a tasty and convenient caffeine fix. If you're in San Antonio, it's located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive near 281 and 1604. Open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, I highly recommend that Red Bull infused lightning bolt. Add the strawberry. I think that's the best flavor to add. Life is too short for bland coffee.
You know, everybody is different as an individual, Jeff. And you know, obviously Big Dave hits with Monster Truck Force. And is just this incredible body of a human being. But then again, Tim has his own gifts and specialties and has at this point quite a lot of experience. So his movement is very strategic and intentional. Mm-hmm. And you know, he's the wizard at whatever he does. He's just good at whatever he does. So mm-hmm. it's cool to see the unique difference between each individual.
You mentioned the Hollywood side. You know, you're training the actors. By the way, they totally hit my nerdy side too. There, the RoboCop, and that I know who you're talking about exactly because he had that big gun. But you know, you're training all these actors and everything. But what I liked about it is that it's an open invitation for everybody in San Antonio. Once again, we're talking with Jason Echols. He's with Echols Fitness. Follow him on Twitter at Echols Fitness. You really want to do that right now. The photos are just amazing what he shares, and he gives you a glimpse into what's it like to be training with him. Jason, ever thought about branching out? You know, perhaps opening up more places for people to train? Is that ever crossed your mind?
It's funny that you say that, Jeff. As I was a bit delayed on making this phone call, I was sitting here with my partner, Dr. Alyssa Hart, and attorney Mr. David Jones, and we were working out the last finalities of our LLC for a company called Zen Wellness, and that's
okay.
XEN, which stands for the Executive Endurance Nexus. And
nice.
we're talking about connecting for the first time the medical world and the wellness world to provide evidence-based wellness. So we're super excited about that. We're looking into expansion on a level I never perceived before, and I have such an amazing team that's helping me make this grow. And we're actually going to be, we're developing the website right now. It should be finished by the end of this week. And it's called ZenWellnessTX.com. Okay. And that's XEN, ZenWellnessTX.com.
Make sure to check it out, everybody, right now. And I think opening other avenues for San Antonio, to stay in shape, or just anybody, who's in the surrounding areas, whether it be at EchoesFitness.com or Zen Wellness, I think that's great. You hear the stereotypes of San Antonio, in its residents, like overweight and, Charles Barkley poking fun, but yet they don't understand the socioeconomic conditions here in San Antonio. How have you grappled with trying to help San Antonio and its residents in that endeavor?
Jeff, there's definitely that in our community. And I think there's just a lack of practice and a lack of just straight up knowledge. People really don't know where to get started or what to do. And, the best part that we're able to provide is to have professionals that are used to exactly that. And now that we have a vascular surgeon on staff, she brings out points on diabetes and high blood pressure and how everything here can help with a lot of those issues. So to have a surgeon be able to provide you medical advice and, again, evidence-based wellness on the things that we're providing here for our people, I think is just an extraordinary tool of knowledge and a tool that you can use on creating that lifestyle that you desire and the prevention thereof.
Yeah, I've spoken about this topic with other guests. When Barkley makes his snide comments about the people in San Antonio, and I tell, look, I don't know if you know this about me, Jason, but I split time between San Antonio and New York City. So I have an apartment in New York City and an apartment in San Antonio. And when I'm in New York City, I cannot go a block without some sort of health and wellness spot. I mean, they just pop up everywhere. But when I come here to San Antonio, it's sparsed out, it's spread out. And I think that's a thing where people don't understand just, the dynamics of San Antonio and I get why, people, need to seek out people like you, fitness trainers, right now, because, it lends to helping reduce that. It helps reducing the stigma, if you will. Wasn't it a few years ago, Jason, where I believe, was it Bexar County or San Antonio was like number one in Texas and the population was overweight? That's gone down tremendously. But again, if you're searching to help with your health and fitness and wellness now, you want to go to echolsfitness.com. Jason, I think you provide a great service for San Antonio, and you're very down to earth. Just talking to you right now, you're just such a cool guy. And I hope everybody, unless you want to stress this to people, that when they come in, it's an open arms experience.
It's absolutely going to be just that. And to touch on what you said earlier, Jeff, again, my partner, Dr. Alyssa, is the chief of vascular surgery at the VA hospital. So she gets a lot of people with diabetes and things like this. And I can literally remember her being late to some of her sessions when she started because of the amputation of limbs due to complications
like
diabetes and things like this. So what we're talking about here is a really significant lifestyle issue, and I think if people could just get turned on to things that are just fun for them, that develop them, they're not just standing on a treadmill and waiting for the clock to run out. They're coming in, they're being intellectually stimulated, they're aligning their mind and their body with breath and movement to literally generate spirit. And that's my tagline. So, I just want to be able to love on the community and share the craft that's been shared with me, and be able to just create goodness in life, my man.
I'm waiting, Jason, for the off season to roll around in the future, or even post retirement, and you have Popovich in there with you. That'd be awesome. What about that, Jason?
Man, Pop is such a great dude. It would be an honor to have him in here and just kind of share some of the culture and the lifestyle that we like to live. And more importantly, Jeff G, I would like to have you. I would like to have you here.
I knew it was coming.
And we've got a 500-pound ice tub out there with your name written all over it, my friend.
You know what, Jason? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that you should be the next candidate to come on over and let's get a video of you and I. I'll do it with you. Sure. And we'll get in the ice, we'll breathe, and we'll hit some sauna and just sit out and enjoy the sun before it gets too insanely hot here in Texas.
I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer. I haven't really said anything about this on this show right now, but there are plans in my immediate future to come back home permanently versus splitting time between New York City and San Antonio. So I think once I make that move to come back home on a permanent basis, I'm going to be knocking on Jason's door. Jason, you're just going to get a text. It's going to be very simple. I'm going to text you. I'm ready. That's it.
Perfect,
or maybe a picture of ice. That's it. And you know what that means.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could put Gervin up, and you know what time it is.
Oh, yep. Good one. Hey, I cannot let you go. And by the way, everybody, we're trying to respect Jason's time here. He's a very busy man, as you heard right now. He's working on business stuff right now, so please excuse the pace of this. But Jason, we got to talk about the Rockhold Duncan thing again. That went viral. That was hilarious to see. It looked like TD wanted to really step in that ring with Rockhold. I think he probably could hold his own, couldn't he?
TD is not TD because he's TD. You know what I mean? Tim is Tim for a reason. And I think everybody in San Antonio and everybody all around the world knows Tim Duncan is not Tim Duncan for no reason. He is the man. He does very well. He's a very intelligent man, and obviously is no stranger to athletic movement. Right. And it was an honor to be able. Luke came over, and Luke is actually getting ready to have a fight April 29th in Denver. He's switched over to the bare knuckle boxing fight scene, and we were super excited to have him here at the studio, and he trained here for a few days, and we threw Luke in the ice, and I can share some video of that with you, Jeff, if you'd like.
Please.
And yeah, so it was super cool to have Luke here and to be able to meet up at the AT&T Center and introduce he and Tim and have our little soiree and be able to have David was there, and Cowboy Cerrone was there, and Uriah Hall was there. We got to talk with Holly Holmes. She was the sweetest and kindest lady. It was just such a wonderful evening for us, and couldn't be more grateful.
Did Tim get revenge of I forgot who got him over the little love tap on the cheek?
If you watch the video close, Tim went immediately into and just kind of turned his body over real quick, and the camera doesn't even pick it up. But Tim actually caught the first one, and if you notice, whatever that guy's name was, when he got his quick little slap, he turned around and ran.
I don't blame him.
I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Tim looked like he had thanks to your training, had those moves. I saw him position the fingers in the neck, get crouched under, ready to move his arms around. So good job, Jason.
Man, I appreciate it, Jeff. Man, it's been such an honor to hang with you and talk with you. And it's always a pleasure. And anytime you'd like to chat more, I'm around.
Yeah. And don't be surprised if I text you again and say, hey, Jason, want to come back on and talk more about, Echols Fitness and your new endeavor. I think it was X. You want to tell us about your new endeavor one more time? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So again, I partnered with the chief of vascular surgery at the Audie Murphy VA. Her name is Dr. Alyssa Hart. We just created Zen Wellness, and we're adding evidence-based wellness in with everything that I practice here, and turning it legit on a whole new level.
He is Jason Echols, right here from San Antonio, wellness enthusiast, celebrity trainer, entrepreneur, as he just heard right now. You want to follow him on Twitter at Echols Fitness, or go to echolsfitness.com. You know what? Just do both. Go to Echols Fitness on Twitter and go to echolsfitness.com right now. Learn more about that, and especially check out those photos. Timmy, Bruce, David, Bassey, they're all there. It's fun to see. Jason, we thank you. I thank you for your time. It means a lot to me for you to take time out of your busy schedule and join me here on Locked On Spurs. By the way, you remind me a lot of I'm a big anime geek, like bad. You remind me of one of those anime senseis. That's what you remind me of, like that.
That's funny. We were looking at doing an NFT at one point, and I got sidetracked on the development of Zen Wellness. But I'll share an image with you of me as an NFT. So
I got to see that. Yeah, I got to see that. Yeah, looking forward to that. And on that note, I want to thank you for me. Locked On Spurs, your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. So for Jason Echols, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.